Arm yourselves, America. This is Defenders Live.
Hey, here comes the danger up in this club. When we get started, man, we ain't gonna stop. We gonna turn it out till it gets too hot. Everybody sing, hey, tell them turn it out till they can't no more. Let's get this thing shaking like a disco ball. This is your last warning, I'm gonna see go. I am not afraid.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. As you can see, I'm Dylan-less, but that is okay because, you know, he's out with the kids. He's took him to this father-son thing going on and whatnot, and it's taken a long time. You know, he'll be back tomorrow. No worries. Everything's good to go. He's just, you know, taking some time with the kids and all that jazz. Nothing to fret. No big situations. Just wanted to kind of put that out there. Wanted to let you guys know nothing wrong is happening. It's fine. By the way, we are here. This is Defenders Live. We are on Mojo 50 Radio. If you don't know what that is, I am terribly sorry. If you're listening to the podcast, you can find us live Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time until 10 p.m. on Mojo 50 Radio, which is on iHeartRadio. Come join us. You can also find us on the Facebook page at Mojo 50 Radio. You can talk to us there at the chat room. We are on the MeWe in the Mojo 50 chat rooms there. We are also on the Twitters where you can contact us at DOAE Show, at Steven Airey, and at Dylan Lyles. We are everywhere to be found. And just use the hashtag What I Learned Today if you use that Facebook page. It's just that's just how it's going to be, you know. That's just how it's going to be. Yeah, Nicole. Yeah, no new toy tonight, Nicole. Sorry, but yes, he is just being a good dad, making sure that he's getting his things taken care of with his sons. Wow, that came out wrong, but really, it's a great time. He's being a good dad, and he should. So, before we get started here, I want to let you guys know about Nostalgia. Apparently, they have cabin fever over at Nostalgia, and you can find them at mojowildrice.com. What do I mean by cabin fever? Well, they've been snowed in forever. It's just now defrosting. They can finally see the tops of the trees, and so they're trying to get out everything they can. And if you guys use the code SPRING10, you can save 10% off of everything site-wide on their website, whether that be the pepper jams, the beer jellies, the whipped honeys, all of their other products and everything that they have going on. Of course, they do have a limited supply of some of the rices, but you can still get the rice grain mixes, the waffle mixes, and all the rest. Make sure you go check them out at mojowildrice.com. Let them know that they haven't been forgotten even during the winter storms, and when the spring cleaning comes, I'm sure they will be happy and on hand to help you guys out. Trump. Donald Trump has he's gotten a little bump from the he's got a Trump bump from the U.S. Supreme Court in a victory over the immigration detention setups that are happening all over. See, the Supreme Court on Tuesday has endorsed the United States authority to detain immigrants awaiting deportation anytime, potentially even years, after they've completed prison term for criminal convictions, handing Donald Trump a victory as he pursues hardline immigration policy. That's good. That sounds like it should happen. The Supreme Court ruling was 5-4 along ideological lines, with its conservative justices in the majority and the liberal justices dissenting. The federal authorities could place such immigrants into indefinite detention anytime without the possibility of bail, not just immediately after they finish their prison sentences. See, the ruling authorized authored by the conservative Justice Samuel Alito, left open the possibility that some immigrants could challenge their detention. These immigrants potentially could argue that the use of the 1996 federal law invoked in the case the Illegal Immigrant Reform and the Immigration Responsibility Acts against them long after they finish their sentences would violate their due process rights under the U.S. Constitution. Yes, Kevin, it is a seed. It is a grassy seed. It is not quite a wild rice, but it is a wild rice considered. So we're just going to keep going with that because it is a wild rice. It's just not actually a rice for that mojowildrice.com. Just kind of off in the end there. Okay. Most of the plaintiffs in the case are legal immigrants. The law states that governments can detain convicted immigrants when the alien is released from criminal detention. Civil rights lawyers in the case argued that the language of the law shows that it applies only immediately after immigrants are released. The Trump administration said that the government should have the power to detain such immigrants anytime. Yeah, they should. In dissent, Justice Stephen Breyer said, the ruling raises serious due process questions. Quote, it runs the gravest risk of depriving those whom the government has detained of one of the oldest and most important of our constitutional guaranteed freedoms. The Constitution can only guarantee freedom to its citizens. That's all. That is all. End of statement. The Constitution can only guarantee freedoms to its citizen. That's right, James in Louisiana. 1996 law. That's a Clinton era. Yes. Yes, it is. Very good catch. Glad you're playing with us over on the MeWe page. Let's see here. It marked Trump's latest immigration victory on the court. At the court, the conservative justices also were in the majority in June 2018 when the court upheld a 5-4 vote that Trump's travel ban targeted people from several Muslim-majority countries. Yeah, true. Tuesday's decision follows a February 2018 ruling in a similar case in which the conservative majority over liberal dissent curbed the ability of immigrants held in long-term detention during deportation proceedings to argue for release. You can't argue for release when you're being held for coming over here illegally. Duh. Enough said. I mean, come on. If you're really going to be that way and you're really going to try to push that sort of issue down, I mean, come on. And yes, for all of those who are asking about the Mojo Wild Rice, TechRoo over on the Twitter says this. At Steven Airey. Doesn't matter if it's a rice or a seed. It's yummy. Rue endorsed. And don't forget the beer jams and pepper jellies. That's right. Don't forget the beer jams and pepper jellies. Erica asks, why are they even allowed to argue? It's so infuriating. Because we have given rights to people who don't have rights. And by giving rights to people who don't have rights, it's an idea that all people have inalienable rights. But at the same point in time, our Constitution can't protect the rights of those that aren't under its law. And even if you come over here illegally and you're being held and detained, the reason why they have the ability to argue is because we have bleeding heart liberals. That's it. We have bleeding heart liberals. Ones of which that decided that everybody, it doesn't matter who it is, can argue with the federal government about how the federal government is run, even if they aren't legal. Even if they're in jail for being an illegal person, a person of illegal status. Yes. Doc Thompson got run over by an Amtrak. I agree with that meme that you sent, both of them. Both memes are getting retweeted. Very good job. You get a retweet. Yes. But it's just the point. The point of this is very simple. These people don't have rights under our Constitution because the Constitution protects the human rights of those that are under its law. And you would say that, oh, okay, well, if you come over to this country, you are automatically under its law. No, you can't be, because we have to have some sort of legal process to make sure, it's called due process. We have to have some sort of legal due process to make sure that those of you who want to be citizens and are citizens have some sort of say in the process as we go. That's right, Erica. Illegal is illegal is illegal is illegal is illegal. And by the way, guys, if you hate all this crap and you hate all this back and forth over immigration and all of this mess with your First and Second Amendment rights and border security and the sanctity of life, one of the things that you can do is you can go and join up with Patriot Mobile today. See, it's America's only conservative cell phone company out there. Not only that, but they're a veteran-run company, and a portion of every bill that you pay for goes to conservative causes. Things like the Heritage Foundation, the NRA, the Susan B. Anthony list. Plus, with unlimited talk and text plans, starting as low as $20 a month, there's no better way and there's no easier time to get started with them. If you need more motivation, mention the promo code DOC when you call them at 1-800-A-PATRIOT or visit them online at patriotmobile.com/DOC, and you get up to 2 activation fees waived on the spot. See, all those liberal companies out there, they're all supporting the crap that you hate. All this stuff that you despise everybody paying for, they do it. Patriot Mobile does not. Enough is enough. Join the fight today over at Patriot Mobile. Call 1-800-A-PATRIOT, use the promo code DOC, or go to patriotmobile.com/DOC. And either way, you get 2 activation fees waived on the spot when you go. James over on the Twitter says, this should get me more negative karma on Reddit. Oh, talking about the, yes, Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall. Both Darth Vader and Trump love them some Pink Floyds. I agree. I agree they do. Most definitely. Americans are not under other countries' laws when they visit. Like, look at North Korea, Iran, etc., etc., etc. Yes and no. Yes and no. You see, you still have to abide by any other country's laws while you're there, or else you could be put in jail. And that's kind of the point. When you come over here illegally, you are no longer abiding by the laws of our country, and thus you are thrown in jail, imprisoned, whatever else. Every time that it doesn't matter what it is, if you abuse or use the laws of another country that you are not a part of, or the ones that you are a part of, you will be put to the full letter of the law in any other country out there. I don't care who it is. If you go to Mexico and you start, doing illegal activities under their laws, they're going to make sure to arrest you, and then you're going to a Mexican prison without bail, without parole, without any due process. None of it. Absolutely none. Compromise. The Green New Wall. Thank you. Doc Thompson got run over by an Amtrak. Thank you for that image. Speaking of wall coverage, the Pentagon has sent Congress a list of projects that they could lose the funding for and transfer to Trump's emergency declaration. You see, the Pentagon got scared after Trump decided, after this whole emergency declaration thing and Trump vetoing the Congress's actions and pushing everything into place. The Pentagon delivered a list of projects to Congress on Monday that could be affected by Trump's plan to use $3.6 billion in military construction funds for his proposed border wall. The 21-page list of military construction funds that could be tapped for the wall includes everything from equipment maintenance facilities to training areas and schools for military families. Its delivery comes days after the acting defense secretary, Patrick Shanahan, had promised senators that he would provide such a document. Quote, "We know President Trump wants to make money from our national security account to pay, wants to take money from our national security account to pay for his wall. And now we have a list of some of the projects and needed base repairs that could be derailed or put on a chopping block as a result." The Senate Armed Services Committee ranked member Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island said that in a statement on Monday. lawmakers are getting the list, which, by the way, come on. When has any Democrat cared about government spending at all? When have they wanted the military to keep their spending? Ever. Let that sink in. This is Jack Reed, Democrat from Rhode Island, senator, saying the government needs to, the military needs to keep their money so that they can build the proper places instead of building the wall. These projects get derailed on a monthly basis, not just annually, monthly basis. 90% of these projects don't get fulfilled or don't get fulfilled or set in stone for years on end. I know my father used to do these projects. And you know, it'd be feast or famine. That's what it is. You'd get a project, they'd pay for it, you'd go do the project. Once it ends, you apply for a new project, you get a project, and then suddenly the government somehow runs out of money even though they already paid for it. And you don't see funding, you don't see budgets, you don't see anything for 5 years. Because they overspent on stupid crap. They overspent on stupid crap. Doc Thompson got run over by an Amtrak at DOA show. Democrats are always concerned about spending money on stuff that they don't want. Stuff that they don't want done. Yes, that's true. Melissa Sippy over on the MeWe says, don't get me started about Rhode Island Jack Reed. He's a D-bag. Okay. I won't get you started. All right? I won't get you started. Can't be ripping no political posters off a wall just because you have a visitor's pass. That's right. Just remember that kid in North Korea. They say, quote, what President Trump is doing is a slap in the face to our military. It makes our border and country less secure. This is still from Jack Reed. Not that members of Congress can see that the potential. Now that the members of Congress can see the potential impact this proposal could have on projects in their home state, I hope they will take that into consideration before they vote to override the president's veto. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You heard me. The document sent to lawmakers Monday lists all military construction projects. Every single one. For which Congress has approved funding, but for which the Pentagon has not signed a contract. These are all the same contracts that have been there for years. The emergency declaration allows Trump to dip into such funds, which are known as unobligated funds, because you haven't already promised somebody that you're going to pay them yet. Look, if these companies and if these military projects if they wanted these things to get done, they would have already paid for them. How do I know, you ask? Because that's what they do. When the money gets doled out, they pay the contractors that they want, and then the other stuff they keep on the back burner so that they can use the money later on in the year and not get pegged for it. Because here's the thing. If you don't spend every dime that the federal government gives to you, no matter how you spend it, if you don't spend it in some way, the government doesn't give you that money anymore. That's how the government works. The more you spend, the more the government gives you money. The less you spend, the less money they give you, because you have proven that you can live on less. Now, does that make sense? Does that compute? Because it doesn't to me. I see companies do this all the time. Hospitals do this too. They run on the same basis. Actually, one of the company I work for currently, they do this exact same thing in their corporate structure. They dole out a whole bunch of money to all these different sets and sites and everything else. And if that site doesn't spend it all, they don't get that money back next year. That doesn't make sense. If the site doesn't spend it all, that means they're doing something right. Maybe you should look at the companies that aren't doing half as much and spending more. Maybe, as a government, you should actually be policing where you spend money. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just crazy. I mean, it could be. It could be that I'm insane. It's highly possible. I'm talking into a microphone on a computer. I could be crazy. But probably not. That's debatable. TechRoo says, at Steven Airey, we had the wife of an American base commander in England refuse to be pulled over for speeding. When they finally got her to stop, she claimed that as a base commander's wife, she had diplomatic immunity. No, that didn't go over well. Yes, you're correct. That would never go over well because she is a moron. You don't have diplomatic immunity just because you're the wife of somebody. You have to abide by the rules of the country that you're in, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing. You have to abide by the rules. Even if you're a diplomat, you still have to abide by certain rules. You could have that title stripped from you at any point in time, especially if you cause too much fuss. See, the Pentagon has requested a $3.6 billion in its fiscal year 2020 budget to backfill military construction accounts. See, they're backfilling military construction accounts. Those accounts should have already been used and paid for, and the jobs should have already been done. But they haven't done them. Donna over on the Facebook says, government, quote, if the department didn't spend it, they must not need that much. This is their mindset. Yes, that is correct. That is completely correct. It says, quote, decisions are not yet made concerning which border barrier projects will be funded through the emergency declaration, the memo says. If the department's fiscal year 2020 budget is enacted on time as requested, no military construction project used to source emergency declaration would be delayed or canceled. Oh, wait. So this is the Pentagon saying, look, if you just give us the money that you were going to give Trump, he can pull whatever he wants out of the funds, out of our coffers, and then you guys can just pay us back. That way you're not actually paying Trump, right? This is kind of a backhanded deal here. This is, grease in the palms. This is a way that the Pentagon is trying to help the Democrats build the wall without saying that they're going to build the wall. No. We're not funding. We're not funding Donald Trump. We're funding the Pentagon budgets for year 2020 already. We're just going to go ahead and fund that to the tune of $3.6 billion so that Donald Trump can take all the money from it right now. And then we don't have to worry about it, and we can kick the can down the road again. I mean, when you think about it, come on. Really, when you think about it, this is the Pentagon greasing the wheels to make sure they're giving them a back door. They're giving the Democrats a backdoor way to get through this and come out unscathed. Of course, they all still smell like crap. But that's for another show. Anyway, that music means there's a commercial break. We will be right back. Facebook folks, what's going on? Okay, let me see here. Wow, you guys have had a lot of conversation. I thought the Constitution guaranteed. I thought constitutional guarantees applied to American citizens. That is correct, Kevin. That is correct. It only applies to American citizens. Why are they even allowed to argue? So yeah, we talked about that. It's hard to believe. I heard it was one of the only native grains. It is. It is. Mojo wild rice is one of the only native grains. And yes, it is a rice technically. It is also technically a long grass. Yeah, with a paddle. They beat it into the boats. That's how they do it. Yeah, they just have basic human rights. That is correct. And, you know, we guarantee those basic human rights, even though some people say that they do have constitutional rights. That's your bleeding heart liberals. A person can only be an illegal alien. Yep. Nicole, you missed the toy. Wah. Erica, got to go to mobile. I'm sorry. That happens. Oh, gosh. Let me see. Kevin John Hutchinson. Money. Easy tax. Easy spend. That's right. Easy tax, easy spend. Third-party spending. It's just how they do it. It's just how they do it. Tell you what, it's good times. Fast times at Ridgemont High. Okay. Let's see. We're going to be coming back here in the next 20 seconds here. Pentagon-na spend it. All right. Hold on with me, folks. And we're back. You're listening to Defenders Live on Mojo 50 Radio. Tell you what, man. I finally got my new package of coffee in from APR Coffee. American Pride Roasters. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. It's amazing. I got the first Thanksgiving along with some blueberry donut hole and what was it? Some bacon blast. And I tell you what. The Thanksgiving one is freaking amazing. I love this. It is so good. It is so good. All the spices that you would want in a dessert inside of your coffee, flavoring those beans that were roasted perfectly. It is amazing. Go check them out. The unofficial sponsor of Mojo 50, APR Coffee, American Pride Roasters, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Also, if you haven't checked out TheRichSolution.com, you should. See, TheRichSolution.com is one of those places where you can find some of the best health advice, supplements, and etc., etc., etc. Along with that, right now they're doing the 90-day challenge, the Doc Thompson Health Challenge. It was started on the 4th of March, hosted by Gwen Rich and created by Brad Staggs. It's something that the Mojo 50 community can use, not only to come together for a common cause, but to heal, survive, and thrive. Go check them out over at therichsolution.com. You're going to want to find out about the 8 obstacles that everyone needs to conquer to have optimum health. It is amazing the things that you can learn and what you can find over at therichsolution.com. It's therichsolution.com. Go check them out today. James in Louisiana says, the Washington is liquid crack. I haven't tried the Washington. I'll have to get that next time. I haven't had it yet. Bacon Blast is Mississippi's favorite flavor. I gotcha. I have some Bacon Blast. I haven't tried it yet. I'm saving that for a little later. I don't know why, but I am. I have been. I had that blueberry this morning, and I'm having the Thanksgiving now. It's amazing. They do such a good job with everything that they do. It's so good. It's just so good. I can talk about coffee all day, but I'm not going to because out of Morrisville, North Carolina, suicide is the second leading cause of death of children from the ages of 10 to 17, according to the report from North Carolina Institute of Medicine and the NC Child. According to the North Carolina State Center for Health Statistics, the rate of youth suicide in North Carolina has almost doubled over the past 10 years. The report states that significant barriers remain for many who need access to mental health. Quote, though a suicide and suicide attempts are more common among children who experience mental health issues like anxiety and depression, however, mental health is only one of the variety of factors that impact youth suicide, the report reads. See, the report points to things such as the impulse controls that they do and do not have at times, along with access to means of self-harm, such as firearms and prescription drugs. Please lock away your guns if you have children in your house. Risk factors mentioned, also train your children. Lock away your guns and train your children. You know, make sure that they know how to use it and how to use it properly, never to point it at somebody, how to hold a gun, all that jazz, because the sooner that they learn, the better off they'll be and the less likely that they'll be to do something as stupid as play with a gun with their friends. Risk factors mentioned in the report include stress, rejection, bullying, childhood abuse, trauma, social isolation, and family violence and disruption. According to the report, 16% of North Carolina high school students reported considering suicide in 2017. But they're still alive, or else they wouldn't have been able to file that report. Quote, the influence of caring and well-trained adults combined with the evidence-based solutions that reduce family and community stressors can prevent dangerous feelings of hopelessness in children and adolescents. Effective strategies including strengthening our crisis response systems, increased investment in behavioral health systems, more partnerships between schools and behavior. You know what? No. Nope. Not. You know what would help them out? Stop teaching them that everything is relative. Stop teaching your children that they are the specialist snowflakes that have ever specialed a special. They don't sparkle like unicorn horns. Start teaching your children about the world. Make sure they understand how tough it is, how it's going to happen, what's going to happen throughout their life. Make sure they're ready for it. Teach them a foundation that is solid. I would recommend something in the Judeo-Christian ethic, along with a little bit of Aristotelian logic. Continue to work with them. Make them better people. I know, Donna, what the heck? North Carolina? Yeah, well, North Carolina is just one of the states that has decided to go uber analyzing on everything that they do. So it's just one of those things. But for real, there is no reason for these kids to be thinking about suicide. I mean, some of them have, once again, impulse control. Okay, I get it. Massive depression. My wife has that. We've dealt with it. Anxiety. We deal with that on a daily basis. How do you do that? You make sure that you or somebody you know is the strong foundation for them to lean on in those times of need. That's how you do that. How do you set that up? Well, you start with teaching them truth. Knowledge. Maybe you add some faith in there. That's what we do. We teach them truth. We teach them faith. Because everybody has faith in something. Normally, when somebody is in this terrible depression or experiencing anxiety, they've either lost perspective of the faith that they have, or maybe they lost their faith in what they were looking at. Maybe they placed it in the wrong area. Maybe they were focused too much on themselves. A lot of mental health issues come about because somebody focuses too much inwardly. When you're so focused on yourself that you can't take the time to look out at the people around you, that's usually when you have anxiety, depression, issues of that sort. It causes you to put yourself into places of trauma, isolation, stress. You feel rejected. And yeah, these things happen as a social thing basis, time by time, especially in the teenage years. But that's normal. Everybody goes through it. So why is there a spike? Because our kids don't know how to handle it. I mean, this new generation coming up, they're a bunch of jackholes. They really are. So they're getting it. They're catching on. They've seen the over-parenting and the over-medicating of everybody, and they're like, nah, I'm cool. You're fine. Just get over it. Bye. But at the same point in time, there is a whole section of them that are very affected by this sort of thing. And it's not something we should take lightly. But it is something that we need to teach our kids. We need to understand that they don't always catch on. We need to bring about change by making sure to instill it in our children. Something you can do about that, go to traguns.com. traguns.com, veteran-owned and operated. Kurt over there just called in today to the Mojo Show. Dropping some knowledge, wanting to let you guys know that there is a brick and mortar store coming. But that doesn't mean that you have to go. You could be doing the exact same thing that you want to do. They're America's first virtual gun store anyway. They're making it easier and more comfortable than ever to purchase your firearms online. They've modernized the firearm sales to accommodate the online generation, but now, in the next couple months, they'll be opening up an actual brick and mortar for those who just can't handle the 3D experience. They have weekly specials. They eliminate shipping and brokerage fees where needed. They've got great guns, great prices at a great service. Plus, they have consignment and layaway options available. traguns.com, traguns.com. Tell them that Steven over at Mojo sent you to traguns.com. Teach them about weapons. Teach them about protection. Teach them about their First and Second Amendment. Make sure your kids know the Constitution. Make sure they know the foundations on which their freedom is set up. Because most of us don't. Most of us don't. In our generations, in our setups, we don't understand it, and that's why we have so many issues and so many problems. Apparently, let me see. Melissa Sippy over in the MeWe says, my kid is so generous he can't be at a friggin' Catholic school. We teach them to be kind like Jesus, but because even private schools get money, they have to follow certain protocols. Do I have to consider homeschool? Maybe you have to consider homeschool. I would recommend that you listen to the show tomorrow. We're going to have Sam Sorbo on. I'm sure she's going to talk a little bit about some homeschooling and things like that. So maybe you should listen tomorrow and see what's going on there. Nicole over on the Facebook says, watch the movie Christopher Robin last night. You missed being a kid. Oh, yeah, I get you. But Christopher Robin was crazy, and his stuffed animals were, pedophiles. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, Newark's mayor is exploring universal basic income. Maybe. See, the mayor of Newark, Raz Baraka, like a native, getting a paycheck for doing nothing could be in the future for residents of New Jersey's largest city. Newark Mayor Raz Baraka says the city is going to study a pilot program to provide universal basic income and basically guarantees income for all residents, whether they have a job or not. He made the statement during his semi-annual State of the City address Tuesday night in New Jersey Performing Arts Center. You see, the city has launched a task force to see if the program is feasible to help with the Economic Security Project and the Jane Institute. What he's saying here is, we are setting up an investigation to possibly think about maybe paying you guys for absolutely nothing. Did you catch that? We are setting up an investigation. That means we're paying people to look into possibly paying you guys universal basic income. It says, quote, we believe in universal basic income, especially in a time where studies have shown that families that have a crisis of just $400 a month may experience the setbacks that may be difficult, even impossible to recover from, Baraka says. He notes that the third of the city still lives in poverty. He didn't release any new details on the plan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, let me ask you a question. Newark, New Jersey, and all that stuff. New Jersey is a fairly expensive place to live. If maybe I'm not correct. I mean, I would assume that to live there, you either have to be subsidized by the government, or you just have to be, really, really wealthy overall. Anything going through New Jersey, New York, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I don't see you living there without $100,000 a year income. And if you are, that means you're getting subsidized by the government. If you make less than $100,000 a year, and you live in New Jersey, New York, etc., you shouldn't. You just shouldn't. Because it hurts you. Doc Thompson got run over by an Amtrak. I caught that DOA show. He's a supporter of the Green New Deal. Yes. Yes, he is. He is a supporter of the Green New Deal. That is correct. In his own little town. In his own little area. James in Louisiana. Hello, every dead, beaten, homeless person in 5 boroughs. That's right. I know it's holy crap expensive, Matt. I know it is. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't make a minimum $100,000 a year, you are poor if you live in New Jersey, New York, Newark, etc., etc., etc. And so they're talking about $400. $400 doesn't mean crap to these people. If they're living in the boroughs and if they're living in the ghettos of New Jersey, they're living in those areas and the projects. Those are some terrible crap hole places. And it would be better for them to move out. They'd be able to find a better job. They'd be able to find a better life. All they have to do is leave New Jersey. Get out of the state. Get out of New York. Maybe move south where you can buy land for that much money. I mean, come on. What are you doing? How are you living in a place like that if you don't make $100,000 a year? If you live in a rat-infested area with a whole bunch of other people, then all you do is live off the government, maybe you should instead think about moving and find a way to live off of your own ingenuity, in your own town, in your own place. Go to a small town and make money. You don't need a Green New Deal. You don't need universal basic income. You just need to get out of the city. That's it. Just get out of the city. It's so simple. Leave those crazy ass people alone. Yes, they have money for gas. They wouldn't live there if they didn't. You know what, you guys should go to Cat Coolers. You should go to Cat Coolers today. It's Cat Coolers are some of the most rugged, experienced coolers that you can get out there. They keep your ice cold for 7 days. 7 days, a whole freaking week they keep your ice cold. Plus, they're made in the U.S., they're customizable. They have 4 different colors. They come in white, black, yellow, and camouflage. You racists. Cat Coolers are amazing. Plus, because they're completely customizable, that means you can put things like our Defenders logo on there. You can put the Mojo logo on there. You could put Brad's face on there and have people sit on him because that would make you happy. I don't know. That's you creepy, creepy jackholes. What's wrong with you? Don't do that. That's wrong. Instead, just put a logo on it. Jeez. And if you go to catcoolers.com, you use the promo code Steven. Use my name, Steven, as the promo code. You get 10% off on your purchase. Catcoolers.com. Use my name, Steven. You get 10% off. Now, I know you guys have been talking about, I've been seeing it on the Twitters. The Twitters have been awry with some conversation about Nebraska and some major things in Nebraska that have happened in Nebraska. What is that? I think it's asking for a friend Jackal. That's, yes, asking for a friend Jackal has been talking up Nebraska. Do we have Defenders logos for Cat Coolers? You can get them. You can ask. You can ask and I will provide. It won't be a problem. I promise you, Mississippi. Just go and get it. Go and get the Cat Cooler. Tell them that you want that Jackal, the Defenders logo, or I'll send you the Jackal logo. Be good. You can get a Jackal Nation cooler with the Defenders logo on top. I think they'd love that. That would be amazing. But asking for a friend Jackal on Twitter, he wanted to let us know about some things. Apparently in Nebraska, there's been some major flooding and some issues out there. It has been crazy. So there is a GoFundMe campaign out there for to help with cleanup and things like that. Let me see here. It's over at GoFundMe.com. It's pre-4F dash Nebraska dash flooding. Here, I'm going to copy that here. Put you there. Put you there. Put you there. Boom. It's on the Facebooks and it's on the MeWe page. Go check it out. It's the GoFundMe page for that. These people are going to need help cleaning up. They're going to need help rebuilding. There's going to be efforts put through. You should go check it out. If it's something that you can provide even $5 to, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. And, he's looking to get they're looking to get $5,000 as the goal just to get things started, to get people, tools and equipment and cleaning up and everything else. So go check it out. Go check out the GoFundMe page. It's right up our alley. We need to be helping these people out. We need to be doing these things. So $5, $10, whatever you can donate, $20 same as downtown. It would be great if you just gave it a try there. Let me see. Sean over on the Facebook page says, wait a second, hold on. Going blind with kids and no savings? Huh? What are you talking about? Just got to try, right? Yeah, okay, maybe. I don't know. You got to get out of New Jersey. I don't care what you got to do, but you got to get out of New Jersey. That's the point. Get out of New Jersey. At DOA show from Doc Thompson got run over by an Amtrak. Everyone, move out of New Jersey. Exactly. That's completely correct. Nebraska. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, so funny story from Nebraska. Apparently, in the midst of all the crap that's been going on, by Sunset Sunday, Mr. Kyle Simpson was wrung out for a full day of cleaning up mud and muck on his property on the Platte River. And he and his friend had to walk more than a mile in chest waders to get back to their car, dodging debris, ice chunks, washout, and waste from the high flooding. A perfect time for a cold beer. And that's when it hit them. His friend, Mr. Galen Stufer, I can't let that pass, saw what looked like a refrigerator, and it was on its back, about 50 yards from the remainder of the road near Linwood and Butler County. A small tangled debris wrapped around it. It had a halo of debris wrapped around this one little tiny fridge. And Stufer, he investigated. Simpson was skeptical. He says, "Hey, there's a refrigerator." And he opens it up and says, "It's full of beer." And I said, yeah, right. He said, and he reached in and says, "It's ice cold." And the refrigerator door had protected the Busch Light and the Bud Light from the floodwaters. So the friends cracked a couple. Simpson took his first ever selfie. And then they finished trudging back to their car, went home, and became internet folk heroes. By Tuesday, 18 hours after his photos were posted on Facebook and a Facebook page is Nebraska Through the Lens, they'd been shared 4,500 times and liked by 7,500 members. Nearly 300 people left comments, calling it a magic fridge, a pot of gold, a silver lining. Nebraska is a small state, and it didn't take long for the fridge owner to be found and the fuller story to emerge. See, Brian Healy saw the Facebook photo and thought it looked like a refrigerator from his family's cabin near Linwood. And then he saw the mix of Bud Light and what his father drank, and Busch Light, what the rest of his family drinks. The ratio was right. The magic fridge had now weathered a flood, and it had survived a fire. After his parents' house burned in 2007, the refrigerator still worked, but smelled of light smoke. So they moved it to the cabin by the river. It was just a summer cabin, no heat to it, Healy said. But it had a full beer fridge. You always got to have one of those. That's right. You always got to have one. Quote, "The flood sucks and everything," he said, "but I want to say how great everyone's been and how helpful everyone's been and how they came together and worked together." They learned later that their cabin didn't make it through the flood. It was either torn apart by trees or pummeled by ice chunks and the river dropping the cooler in the field nearly 4 miles downstream. Simpson's drive from his home in Elkhorn to his cabin typically takes less than an hour. Closed roads and bridges stretched Sunday's trip up to 2 hours, and the walk up to the car took a hard hour by itself. The cabin had survived. He'd built it on stilts, but several outbuildings. He runs a waterfowl hunting club and rents properties on the Reunion. Quote, "We've been there a long time. We've been through the floods, and this one, by far, is the worst," said Simpson. Simpson and Healy spoke on Tuesday. Simpson promised to reunite Healy's family with the refrigerator, minus a couple beers. It's a magic beer cooler, folks. A magic beer fridge. I'm not a beer guy, and I'm definitely not a Busch or Bud Light fan. But hey, when you're in Nebraska and you're trudging through the mud and the muck and the mire and you're trying to clean everything out, maybe you can just sit back and have a beer once you're done. Well, folks, that has been the show tonight. This is Steven Airey signing off for both Dylan and Steven for Defenders Live. By the way, go check out our website, DOAE Show. That's at DOAE Show on the Twitters. Hashtag what I learned today. Go get your Jacko gear, everybody. It's there on the website. Go get it. Now, good night, Doc Thompson. We know where you are. Now, you go home.